All right, this is a reporting document page. Form approved, though. Office of Budget Management and Budget number 07040111. Sorry, 07040188. Public reporting burden collection information with estimate of the average 1 hour per response, including the time of the reviewing, the restriction, searching existing data sources, gathering, maintaining data need, completing the reviewing, the collection information, such comments of the burden estimate, any other aspects collection information, including suggestion reducing the burden of the Department of Defense, Washington Headquarters Service Directorate, the information of operation reports of 07040188, 1215 Jefferson Highway, Davis Highway, St. Suite 1204, Arlington, Virginia, 2220243002. Respondents should be aware that withstanding other provisions of law, no person shall be subject. Please do not return your form to this above address. All right, the report date with the 15th of September 2008. The final report type: final testing operation procedures are your top 12501 rail impact testing. Performing organization name and address: Support Equipment Division, U.S. Aberdeen Testing Center, 400 Calorine Road, Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland, 210055059. Sponsoring monitoring agency name and address: Test Business Management Division, U.S. Development Testing Command, 314 Long Corner Road, Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland, 210055055. Approved for public release, distributed in a limited defense supplementary note, Defense Information Center, the AD number ADA 490124, top superseded, top 12501, dated June 30th, 1995. The top described the procedure for the conducting rail impact test. Your subject terms are rail impact, couplers, tie-down, transportation, and buffer cars. Security classifications of report: unclassified, abstract, unclassified, this page unclassified, limited extraction, SAR, number of the page is 11, and that's your standard form 298. Or use development, test command, test operation procedures, test operation procedure 12501 or 15 September 2008, DTIC AD number ADA 490124, rail impact scope testing. Scope: facilities instruments, required testing conditions, testing planning, testing preparation, testing procedures, rail impact test, temperature condition, failure definition, data required, data representation, presentation, and Appendix A reference A1. The top supersedes top 12501, dated June 30th, 1995, approved for public release, distribution, and limited. The scope: the top describes the procedure for the conducting rail impact test. The rail impact test is used the varying structural integrity of the test item, the adequacy of the tie-down system, and the tie-down procedures. Top is intended for vehicles and equipment that will be transported by the rail, and determine the effect of normal railway car impacts that occur during rail shipment over the full lifespan of the testing item. The top is not intended to separate testing with small individual package pieces of equipment that would normally be shipped and tested when mounted on a pallet. It does not cover the vibration induced by railway car movement. All right, facilities and information. Your straight dive level section of railroad track is 61 meters or 200 feet minimum length. Additional track in order to the reverse of the test car, buffer car for the impacting over the opposite direction. Requirement is to provide distance for the accelerated locomotive to test the item for the rail car specified impact speeds. Locomotive inclined ramp, tug car, or other mechanical driver item. Requirement: to accelerate the rail car with the test items with the required pre-impact velocity. Test rail car equipped with in-car cushion, draft gear, conventional underframe without cushioning, chain tie-downs. Requirement: the transportation of the test item into the buffer cars. Are your buffer cars 1 through 5 with a total weight of 250,000 pounds, with the first buffer car equipped with standard friction drift draft gear, and remaining buffer cars, if any, equipped with either standard draft gear, cushion draft gear with a draft gear compressed for either case. The requirement is to act as the buffer cars into which the test item is impacted. Use other railway cars for testing the representative indent shipping methods. Advance approval of the Director, SDDDCT, SDDTE, DPE, Building 1990, 709, Ward, Drive Scott Air Force Base, Illinois 62225. Temperature condition chamber, if required, to provide the required temperature environment for the tested item. All right, to your instrument devices for measuring. Rail impact speed timers is plus or minus negative 16 hundredths of the kilometer per hour, or plus or minus 1/10 of a mile per hour. Locomotive speedometer 0.1600 of the kilometer of an hour, or plus or minus 1/10 of a mile per hour. Coupler forces strain gauge coupler if required, plus or minus 2 kilonewtons or plus 500 pounds of force. Tie down bolt torque wrench if required, plus or minus 5% of the reading. Acceleration accelerometers if required, plus or minus 500 of the gram. Strain or strainers gauges if required, plus or minus 5 microstrains. Temperature thermocouples if required, plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius or 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Optional optical instrument, video, movie, or still camera as required. Required testing conditions. 3.1 testing planning. The program manager for the contractor must develop the rail tie-down procedure for the item provided with the U.S. Military Surface Deployment Distribution Compound Transportation Energy Agency for approval. The Department of the Surface Development Distribution Compound Transportation Emergency Engineering Agency is designed for the landing mode transportability agent with the Department of Defense. View the previous test report. Suitable tie-down procedure for the similar test items described in the T pamphlet 5519. Required tie-down procedures and special railcar equipment and requirements for the program manager and the contractor after the Surface Deployment and Distribution Command Transportation Engineering Agency. Check the applicable equipment and mail publications specifically on special transportation requirements that may include the basic wheel plus the additional payload weight of the equipment and ammunition. Satisfy the requirements of Military Standbook 209K3 with the type down provision for the testing. These requirements will include, but not limited to, number of provision of paragraph 521 and provision of dimensions of 524, surface size and clearance and direction capabilities of 522, and strength provision of connection supporting structural frame in paragraph 523. All right, 3.2 testing preparation. Successfully complete the requirements of Military Standard 209K with the beginning of the rail impact test. Note the replacing existing damage for the testing item railcar, including the damage to the chain links and binders, other loading service devices. Personnel operating the locomotive inclined the ram must be properly trained or prior to the testing. Test all the test items maximum gross weight fully loaded, unless otherwise specified in transportation requirements. Ensure the fuel tank for the test item is approximately 3/4 full in accordance with the joint manual 24204 during this test. Place the gear shift on the automatic manual transmission in neutral, secure with the wire. T pamphlet 5519. Ensure the parking brakes on the testing item is set during the vehicle securement. For the safety reasons, the brakes must be released prior to the performing of the rail impact test. T pamphlet 5519. Inflate the tires to highway pressure. TA pamphlet 5519. Ensure the trailers or rail impact tested attached to their primary move of the TA pamphlet 5519. Unless otherwise specified with the detailed test plan. Ensure the semi-trailers that do not have dedicated prime movers can be tested on specialized test flat cars with retractable hitches and stanchions. Joint manual 24204. Blocking braces not permitted. TA pamphlet 5519. Do not use chock blocks on the wheels. Ensure the chains are symmetrically around the test item of the rail car corners for the surface deployment distribution command transportation energy engineering agency. Approved procedures. Procedure found in the test items technical manual. The tie-down chain should be approximately 45 degrees. TA pamphlet 1519. Angle with the deck of the test railway car with view with the side. Do not cross the tie-down chains. Ensure the number of chains required per test item properly determine the defined 2-2 items, the ratio of the vehicle weight and the chain working load limit. TA PAM 15519. Most vehicles have 4 tie-down provisions. Each provision should have the same number of the chains attached to it. Ensure the chain down tie-down tension is properly deflection of more than about an inch of the weight of the person standing on the TA PAM 5519. Oh, do not use wire rope for the purpose other than rotating the parts of the test item. The turret, tank, of the movable parts introduced include outriggers and booms without advanced approval of the Surface Deployment Distribution Commanding Transportation Engineering Agency. Torque nut of the wire rope clips to their correct value. Torque the cable of the clamps following the guidelines for the TA pamphlet 5519. 61 newtons a minute, 61 newtons a meter or 45 pounds a foot for the 9500th of the centimeter or 3/8 of an inch wire rope cable. 88 newtons a meter of the 65 foot a pound or 1.3 centimeters and 1/2 inch wire rope cable. 176 newton meters or 130 feet pound for 1.66 centimeters or 5/8 of an inch wire rope cable. Dummy loads are permitted only when the individual equipment is not available at the time test. Usually, dummy loads must be approved by the Surface Deployment Distribution Command Transportation Engineering Agency prior to the testing. Substitute with the dummy loads must be equal weight with the weight distribution size and have the similar dynamic characteristics of the actual item replaced. Alright, Q. Ensure the speed and indicator of the instrument is positioned with a calibrated prior to the testing, determining the speed of the road of the railcar at impact. Position the instrumented coupler required for the impact end of the stationary cars measured for the coupler force during the impact. Position additional transducers such as the accelerator meter, the 3 mutual perpendicular axles, strain gauges, thermocouples, etc. Selected locations on the test of the railway car deck if required, and attach calibrated speedometer to the locomotive and use the speedometer indicated with for the locomotive engineer. Prior to the rail impact testing, take photographs of the test setup and documentate the tie-down procedures. Video coverage may be provided with each rail impact test. 4. Test procedures. Rail impact test. Accomplish a rail impact test by securing the test item on the railway car, propelling the car into the 5 stationary buffer cars using a locomotive or inclined ramp. Measure actual impact by determining the speed of the load of the railway car immediately prior to the impact at the point of the impact feasibility. Prior to the stationary rail car with the coupler compressed, its air and hand brake set, position the knuckles over the buffer and test cars for coupling. Subject the moving of the railway car impact speed at 6.4 to 9.7 kilometers an hour, or 4 to 6 miles an hour, plus or minus negative a tenth of a kilometer an hour, or plus or minus half a mile per hour, and 12.9 kilometer an hour, 8 miles an hour, plus or minus 0.8 tenths of 8 or negative kilometers an hour, or 0.5 miles per hour. If the speed is below 12.9 kilograms or 8 miles an hour, repeat the impact. Conduct the impact accelerating the rail car to desired speed using either the locomotive equipped with a speed measuring device inclined with the ramp. Release the rail car loaded with the test approximately 15 meters or 50 feet from the stationary buffering test allows it to coast until it impacts. Turn the rail car with the test item in, subject to moving the railway car impact at the speed of 12.9 kilometers or 8 miles an hour, plus or minus a negative half a mile an hour. Impact the opposite end of the test railway car. First 3 impacts of the total 4 impacts. It's possible to turn the test car around with the buffer cars because of the track layout. Ensure the forward impact must be accomplished with reverse direction. No tie-down chain adjustment is permissible with the after the rail impact test. The common sees adjustment of the restraint occurs with the entire rail pack procedure. 4 impacts begin with it. 4 miles an hour must be repeated from the beginning. At the conclusion of each of the impact, inspect the test for the equipment damage for the tie-down provisions as well as the tie-down procedure for the evidence for the failure. Take photographs as needed on the test at the start of there shall be no readjustment and the test and any condition of the tie-down device. Initial tie-down devices fail with the repeat entire testing provided with the revised method of securing the feasible approval of the Surface Deployment Distribution Command Transportation Engineering Agency. At completion of the test, examining the test and permanent displacement of the damage and conducting functional operational checkout. Compare the results with the pre-test data. G. If the test equipment is exposed to test conditions exceed the allowable limits, conduct appropriate physical examination of the test input, perform an operational check when they are practical before testing is required, resumed. If the test can be transportation is more than one orientation, such lengthwise or crosswise on the rail car, repeat 4 impacts for the orientation. All right, 4.2, temperature condition. If the rail impact is to be conducted with the temperature of extremes, conduct the following prior to impact. Secure the test item of the rail car, place the test item in the temperature chamber enclosure, adjust the chamber to the age temperature of the test chamber. Temperature of the temperature chamber source should be located as close to the rail impact site as possible for the best efficiency. Following the temperature stabilization of the test item, maintain the storage temperature theoretically specified with the test plan before the rail impact. Testing temperature stabilization attained with the temperature operating part of the test site, considering to have longest thermal lag and change no more than 2 degrees Celsius, 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. Disconnect the temperature condition chamber source if employed. Perform the rail impact test as stated in paragraph 4.1. If the test item is being conditioned with a detached from the rail car condition, following after the condition item is mounted on the rail car. 1. Replace the test item with the temperature chamber, the adjusting chamber to the air temperature of the testing temperature. Follow the temperature stabilization test item. Maintain the storage temperature for the minimum of twice the amount of time that the test item has been out of the temperature chamber. Perform the rail impact test as stated in paragraph 4.1. If the test remains outside the chamber for more than 15 minutes, the reconditioning is required, and more important impacts are required after 15 minutes reconditioning testing item 30 minutes after the test has been stabilized required test temperature. 4.3 Failure definition. As the test item is not as classified as not having survived with the rail impact test, the deemed failure of any of them attached included with the integral part of the test item break free with the loosen should be any sign of the permanent deformation on the specified tolerances. The test item must be fully functional after the rail impact test failure with the test item to operate the design move chute with the communicate will result in the test failure. C. The breaking off any tie-down chain will constitute the non-test of the restraint replaced with the test must be restarted at 4 miles per hour impact. The loosening of any tie-down chain will continue the test failure. If any of the tie-down chains have tightened between impacts, the test should be restrained to 4 mile an hour per impact. Alright, test controls should be adequate to ensure the repeatability of the process, maintain the test parameters as prescribed in tolerance. Nevertheless, any of the point impact in which measured of the speed of the test car is greater than the upper limit of the tolerance of half a mile per hour is considered the valid test incremental impact speed provided with the material tested and restraint of the rail car are not advised affected. Adversely affected, damage, permanent deformation, performance degradation. The next incremental impact speed is not exceeded. This contingency does not alter the need for successive impacts. Progressively acceleration impact of speed to the impartial nominal increased amount of the straining energy to the restrained tested item. For example, the rail impact test, which in speeds are 8.9, 9.7, and 13.1, and at 5.56 miles an hour, 8.1, and 8.3 miles an hour are recorded with non-equipment damage is noted will be considered satisfactory test of the 5.5 mile an hour impact qualifying the incremental or 4 mile an hour impact. Alright, data required. The following data required. Documentation of the tie-down devices used to secure the test item, photo and drawings, material listed, etc. Description existing damage of the test item of the rail car. Description of the test rail car, individual buffer cars. The description of the test item, including weight, dimension, general location of the test car. Direction of the impact, define forward end of the testing and item. Impact speeds, result of the examination and operational checkouts. Test, if necessary, transducer measurement, acceleration, temperature, strain, etc. Various locations on the test item railway car. The effects of the test item tie down serve the devices, including deficiencies, shortcomings, limitations that occur during the rail impact. Alright, data presentation. Prepare photograph sketch of the tie-down configuration. Prepare the graph peak of the coupler forces, the version of the actual impact speed if required. Prepare the photographs of the instrument, any damage of the components if required with the compatible tables, the peak acceleration levels and plots time versus the acceleration of each for the impact. If required, present the video combination with the actual impact. Prepare the pretend graph to represent other transducing or measurements if required. The strain versus the time, the temperature rating is etc. Your appendix reference Department of Defense Instruction 4540.07 Operation of the Department of Defense Engineering Transportation Deployment Program incorporating administrative changes of the 1st September 11, 2007 and October 12, 2004. Your T pamphlet 5519 Tie Down Handbook for the Rail Movement 6th edition September 2003. Military Standard Handbook 209K, Military Standard Interface Lifting and Tie-Down Provisions, Joint Manual and 24204, Technical Manual 38250, Navy Supplemental, Publication 505, MCOP 4039.9G, DLAI 4145.3, Preparing hazardous materials for the military air shipment is 1st December 2001. Reference for information only. Association of American Railroads Open Top Loading Rules Manual and General Rules of Loading. All section number 6 rules for the loading military equipment material. Toll free 877-999-8824 Washington D.C. AR revised annually. AR 7047 Engineering with Transportation Transportability 19 August 1985 Military Standard 810F the Environmental Test Method Engineering Guidelines January 2000 Military Standard 1366E Interface Standard with Transportation Criteria October 2006. Alright, forward comments, recommendation, change of any pertinent data, whether maybe you've improved the publication following address test management, business division, U.S. Army Development Test Commands, Aberdeen Proving Grounds, Maryland 210055055. Technical information may be obtained preparing actively supporting an equipment division at U.S. Army Dean Testing Center with the 400 Calorie Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland 210055059. Additional copies can be requested for the following website, itops.dct.army.mil-request for documents.asapx. Though the Defense Technical Information of A725 John J. Kingman Road, STE 0944, Fort Belvoir, Virginia 220606218. Document identified with the accession number, the AD number, and the printing on the first page.